Arab crimes.
I like the idea that essentially if you speak out against war crimes, then that makes you an anti-Semite.
Don't speak out against war crimes. When Hamas did, Hamas brought to war.
I mean, it's something that I would like to see, people like Netanyahu do, but he's, of course...
Necro. Is
You knew exactly what to ask.
Under a hospital a war crime? Is storing weapons under a mosque a war crime? Is using human kids as shields a war crime?
Yeah.
I have a question. Can we get back to the interrogation of what country would be best? Well, which country did you say you would prefer, Necro?
He said Norway.
Yeah, which one is better?
I gotta take a photo of Mojo's PTR. It's so ridiculous.
I have a question for you. What do you think the average income is in Norway in comparison to the United States?
I don't know.
Average income. It's the average income is 60,300 in Norway. Average income in the United States is 77,500. So more than $17,000 more. And then when you adjust for taxation, any idea of the purchasing power that you have after taxes?
I would have to look into that.
Yeah. So my question is how are you when you're saying that something is better than another country? What are you basing it on?
Yeah. So specifically, the question was which one is better for its poorest people, and I think that it's clear, and that's why I gave the example is that prisoners in Norway have better opportunity. Convicted murderers, people who everybody thinks shouldn't have any chance of opportunity.
Well, but why would your standard of measuring the success or the judiciousness of a country be based on the way that murderers fare?
Because they're just people who are the lowest of society.
They're the people that killed people.
Yeah, so I mean, they're the people you would expect to get the worst, and yet they seem to get pretty good opportunity in Norway.
Necker, I don't think you know what you're talking about.
Well, he supports Hamas. So.
Hold on. So let's talk about Norway. They have a minimum income guarantee, right? So you probably like that.
I mean, it does sound appealing, but I haven't looked into it. I mean, like I said, I put up earlier that there are a lot of dynamics of Norway that we don't have in the United States. For example, having a strict immigration policy, which is something I think in America should have a stricter immigration policy.
Why do you think Norway, despite the fact that they don't have high income earners, on average, they earn less than us, why do you think they're able to afford things like free healthcare, education, childcare, that many of the people either own property or they receive housing assistance from the government? Why do you think that is? What do you think is a factor that allows for a country like Norway to be able to budget accordingly to be able to make those decisions? What do you think is the leading reason why they can do that?
Yeah, so they do have better education. They also have better, in general, overall,
It's an obvious thing because a lot of these countries that have these socialist economic systems that are providing things that you think are really bitchin' to have, they only can have those things because they don't spend money on their own military. In fact, they live under the security umbrella of NATO, more specifically the security umbrella of the United States. So if you're going to have a grievance about anything, the reason why they have those things is because U.S. taxpayers pay for the security assurances, so Norway can spend their money on those things.
Yeah, that's something I mean. it's one of the things I think Trump was right about these nations, essentially them the United States paying much more into their military than other countries, basically that it's not like fair that they can expect us to do it, to do everything.
Illinois District 16.
So, again, now that you break that down, like imagine if we were to just say, hey, no more security assurance, you got to fund your own military. Some of those services would disappear. Would you still want to be in Norway?
I mean, like I said, I mean, I wasn't saying that I didn't say specifically that I wanted to be in Norway. It was about a specific issue in Norway, but I mean, overall, I'm not certain right now whether I would move to Norway. Looking at it right now.
Norway would be part of Russia then, and you wouldn't like that, right?
No, it wouldn't be something I would like. So,
Jules, there's a very Necro. Hold on, Jules. There's a very easy way to settle the matter with Necro. You just ask him, Necro, if you were king of the world, what would you do? What would your priorities be for your people?
Education. Ending crime.
How would you do that?
Well, I mean, am I a politician now?
Well, yeah, you're king of the world. How do you end crime? What would you do to criminals?
I mean, I would impose harsh sentences on hard crime. I would.
But then treat them nice. Treat them nice in prisons, right? That's what you say.
I mean, I would disconnect them from if they're a danger to society. I would keep them restrained to keep them from being able to hurt other people. If that means
in New York recently, in the last week, some guy stabbed a few people to death, and he had 47 arrests. Not all were violent crimes, some were jumping the turnstiles, but there are plenty of violent crimes within the 47 arrests. Do you think that person should be allowed on the streets?
Sorry, what did he do again?
He stabbed 2 people to death, and he had 47 previous arrests, some violent crimes. Should that person be on the streets?
No, I don't think so. I mean, not looking at the case, I can't really make a judgment about their mental health, but I just like hearing them, I don't think that they should be allowed.
Well, you're right. He had mental health issues, probably drug addiction too. But Necro, I'll vote for you for mayor of New York with your communist beliefs if you have strict prison sentences for all these people. I mean, we have so much crap running around.
Yeah, I mean, that's something I would agree is like in states like California, they've capped at the amount of time that you have to remain on the sex offender registry. I think that's wrong. I think that if you rape a child, then you should always have to live with that.
I knew Epstein would come into the pictures. Alright, I guess,
well, and that's the thing, like, to me, is like, I mean, it doesn't surprise me that Trump is losing all of his, based on this issue, because they base their entire, it baffled me that they would choose Trump when they talked about all this thing with Epstein, but when Trump is probably one of the most associated people with Epstein, the only other person I can put who has a higher profile would be Bill Clinton. Well, I just said the only person who I can think of would be Bill Clinton.
So. But he's not even a close second. He had a fight with Epstein a long time ago, and you and all the Trump derangement syndrome people are screaming for the Epstein tapes. They want videos of Trump getting a blowjob by a little girl. I know it would give you a high like you never had in your life. Yeah. Let's admit it. It would make you thrilled.
You know
It
more
would
about me
thrill-
than I do.
well, it would thrill you. What is all these
Do you think it would thrill
Epstein?
the Americans?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
I could say it.
Why is it horrifying with the American people?
I didn't say I didn't say right or wrong. I could say right or wrong. But you want it. You want the Epstein tapes out because you're looking to get Trump. If they have a video of Trump with a little girl, my God, you guys will go be in ecstasy, right? It'll be the best thing in the world because you hate Trump.
Deserve the truth.
Right. Jules, he's a necrophiliac. He's not a pedophile. Necro would prefer to see Trump with a dead carcass in the middle of a graveyard. That is what gets Necro's feather tickled.
Now you're going to make him sleep really happy tonight. But it's crazy. I don't know.
Try to use your words, Necro. I mean, you're a necrophiliac, right?
Yeah, maybe. Do you have pedophiles in Norway?
Necro, your response to what you would do for your people if you were king, it's not, a really great leadership position. I'm just so confused. Like, are you, what's it
So
called?
you disagree with people being educated. You disagree with crime.
There's no universities in America. Universities in America are standard for the world. It was until they had to depictorize. Maybe now you like it even better. But our colleges, they come from China, they come from Russia, they come from every part of the world to go to university in America. So don't tell me how
I find it really interesting that MAGA seems to complain that, with the swift judgments that are made about, racism, but that is what they are doing by associating with communism, with, everything the Democrats do on, that's what's assumed about me. It never gets old in the double standard.
Do you really think there's something called MAGA, or is it really just not the Republican Party, Dr. Necro?
I think MAGA extends beyond the Republican Party. I think it's one of the reasons why Trump got independent support was because, people are just really sick of the establishment.
You know what MAGA stands for, right?
Well, I understand people, it's a populist. Yeah, I understand it's a populist movement that's about,
Make
trying to
America,
make
America
that
great
wants to
again.
put America first, essentially.
Right.
One of the
What
reasons
doesn't take
why
first is great again. That's
it's
all.
one of the reasons why I think why the Democrats are losing voters is because of the fact that they.
Okay, I'm going to end this live stream in a little bit. I'm going to go exercise.
So essentially, America First is automatically more appealing to the average person. That's why to me, my
Quick chat update for you, Necro. Rich says that you sound like Rudy Giuliani.
Yeah, so I would like to see Rudy Giuliani be as critical as I am of Trump.
But
I don't think he sounds like.
Yeah, I'm a little confused. Rich, why do you think he sounds like Rudy Giuliani?
Yeah.
Oh, maybe because you're a young man, but you sound like an old man.
I've heard people say that I sound like Craig T. Nelson. That's something I do understand.
Necro, let me ask you a final question. When was the last time you did 10 pull-ups?
I actually just did it yesterday.
Really?
Yes.
Well, that's great news.
Are you in college, Necro?
Yes.
I don't want to. You don't want to tell me what state you live in.
I live on the East Coast.
On the East Coast.
Yes.
Have you given up dating trannies?
No. Come on. Did you? I know you support Hamas. Did you march with the? You know what?
I don't support Hamas.
You don't support Israel.
I support Israel's right to, to have
Exist.
its own state and defend its own people. I am not okay with war crimes.
War crimes.
Yeah.
Hamas committed the war crimes.
Yeah, so Israel has the right to do 10 times the damage that was committed on October 7th.
Tenfold?
What's tenfold? What's the amount you're allowed? Is there an amount you're allowed? I mean,
Proportionate, Jules. Proportionate warfare. You kill us. You kill 2,000 of ours. We only kill 2,000 of yours. Proportional war.
Yeah, and I mean, are you critical of the state of Israel? The fact that they have held 7,000 people in detention and restrictions for due process. I mean, pride was something.
Great question. My position on that is that Israel should hold those people. They should kill them. The Hamas terrorists, and they used for exchange of hostages. So they dribble out 2 hostages and get 1,000 soldiers back to kill more Jews. That's my position. Yes, they should be killed. Because what about the hostages?
So then why should Hamas respect the state of Israel when Israel kills Palestinians?
They don't.
You're saying they should respect the state of Israel when Israel kills.
No, I'm not saying they should respect. I'm not saying
you don't want them to kill Israelis, and yet you're justifying why Israel should have the right to kill Palestinians who have not been convicted of a crime.
Right, because they're killing Israelis that haven't been convicted of crime. They went to a music concert, a rock concert. That was no crime. The existence of Israel is a crime to them. And the ones that are in prison did commit crimes, and that's how they got in prison. There are plenty of Palestinians that work in Israel before the war. Israel opened up the gates, let them work in Israel. There are plenty of Palestinians or Muslims that live in Israel, have rights on their in the Knesset. Israel is the most democratic country in the Mideast. Israel exists mainly because there used to be a Jewish community in Syria. Not anymore. There used to be a Jewish community in Iran and Iraq and all over the Mideast. Not anymore. And when I say Jews, I mean Jews and Christians. They're dwindling down to nothing. Only one country takes people of all races, all religions, all colors, all sexuality, and that's Israel.
Except for that Palestinian, they kill them.
No, they don't kill Palestinians. They kill Hamas soldiers.
12,000 children have been killed lying at Israel's feet ever since October 7th.
They've been used as human shields by the
Oh yeah, it's their fault. It's
yes.
It's
no,
your fault if you got hit by the police officer, you could have dodged, him getting his baton.
Yeah, yes, it's their fault. It's their fault.
Oh my gosh.
They my gosh. Who attacked who on October 7th or whatever Who attacked
How many people
I don't know.
prior to October 7th?
People committed crimes.
Yeah, but who created the crisis in Palestine? Who shuts off their electricity?
Israel left Palestine. Remember, there was a time when Israel had settlements in Palestine. Israelis had settlements in Palestine. They left. The soldiers of Israel dragged those people who had the right and owned property in Palestine, and they took them out of Israel. It was Israel wanted peace. You know the expression, Necro, if Israel dropped all their weapons, they'd be mutilated.
In your view,
if Hamas dropped all their weapons, they'd have a state.
To you, a Palestinian has zero value. Palestinian child. But
No.
Everybody should.
No, Hamas is killing them. Is it a war crime to use human children as shields? Is that a war crime?
To kill children, period.
Not by accident. If you stay in a populated area in schools, is it a war crime to use put weapons on the schools, on the mosques, on the hospitals? Yes. And that's what they did. They built tunnels. They didn't want a prosperous
So have you
nation.
spoken against the IDF, for how many universities have been leveled to the ground?
The only thing I have against the IDF is they put themselves in danger of not firing because there's populated areas.
Yeah,
They put themselves in danger. I know they try not to kill children, yes. And what, you tell me what country, what war ever broke out where one side has to feed the other side? You tell me what war ever broke out.
We're in existence.
Everyone,
That's what it means to win a war.
we fed the Germans, we fed Japan during World War II. Come on.
Yeah, that's totally what it is. Israel is a complete, is completely.
Necro, let me ask you a question. Have you ever been to Tel Aviv or Jerusalem?
Yeah, so have you ever been to Iran?
I'm asking you. I've been a couple times. I'm just asking you. Have you been?
Your question is,
Yeah.
the way you feel.
Did you ever go to Israel? Did you ever go to Israel, Necro?
Yeah, I'm not answering your question.
Well, because you can't. You can't say yes.
Okay.
And I'll tell you what.
Do I not have a choice to answer to whether I want to answer it?
You don't have to answer. How about this question?
Okay.
If I had 3 tickets, round trip tickets, one was to Israel, you could take that. One was to Syria, and one was to Iran. Which one would you take? You had to pick one.
Yeah, it depends. Me, if I'm Palestinian, would I be okay?
And if you heterosexual, it's 2 tickets each for you and your girlfriend to go visit.
Yeah, like I said, if I was Palestinian, the answer would not be.
No, you're not Palestinian. You're you. You're you. I'm giving you 2 tickets. Whatever you are. You have a girlfriend or wife or whatever, probably a girlfriend or a boyfriend. It doesn't make a difference to me. I'm giving you 2 tickets to go to either.
It doesn't matter to me what you are, Necro.
Damascus, Syria, or Tehran, or any place in Iran. Where would you go?
Yeah.
2-week vacation. Where would you go?
Yeah, where would I go? I mean, it's easy to ask me as a white guy, whether whether.
Where are you gonna go? Answer the fucking question.
Yeah, as a white guy, I'm gonna go to Tel Aviv.
Okay, you're gonna take your girlfriend to Tel Aviv for vacation for 2 weeks to the oppressive Jewish nation. Okay, and you know why you picked Tel Aviv, right?
Because I, as a white guy, have nothing to be concerned about.
And he answers the questions, Mojo, you listening to this?
He's on the phone. Yeah, this is something that me and Mojo disagree on. Overall, like I said, I understand.
I don't know how your mind got twisted. I really don't know how your mind got twisted.
Well,
you sound like a nice guy.
Do you think the majority of Americans, think that, they agree that, Israel's actions against Palestine, that they're on board with it? Because
I think almost all of the Americans think that Hamas started the war. That's what I think.
Hi, Necro. Great. Hold on, Necro. Great news. My YouTube chat audience is saying that they're going to fully fund your trip to the West Bank if you want to go.
I mean,
we could call it a clubhouse field trip for you.
I mean, really, so, you're willing to put a fundraiser together to let me go to the West?
Yeah, they're going to buy your plane ticket, your bus ticket, your hotel accommodations, and all your meals. Plus, you can get a $100 petty cash to buy whatever you want at the West Bank gift shop.
Will Israel allow me there if I offer food to people?
I don't think Israel has anything to do with your
Really, because
Clown House
because
YouTube funded trip.
They've arrested people for offering food to people in Gaza.
Well, I don't know, but I'm very excited that my YouTube chat audience has super chatted me $5,000 to send you on an all-expense paid trip to the West Bank. Okay, are you available in September?
Yeah, I mean, that's
hold on for a second.
I would like to know if they would be willing
Hold
to do
on
it.
for a second.
Knowing that I would give them food.
I invited Elizabeth up. You wanted to speak, Elizabeth.
That grows so ridiculous. Isn't it funny?
Thank you, cousin. I'm really perplexed. I haven't heard everything, so I'm not going to speak upon anything like I've heard everything that's going on right now. But I have a lot of questions. Like, I'm really confounded by what I hear. So, what is actually that? And I hope that's actually the right person to direct
Marshall's
to.
back.
What is your solution for Israel and Palestine? You do know, like so many things. There's no P in the lexicon of Arabic. It's an imaginary people group that was described by CCP and Arafat. He was fucking bull. Sorry, I'm really trying to keep it together.
Oh, he modded Marshall.
Where do you get
Fuck.
your breathing?
Jules modded Marshall at Trader.
Where do you get your information? I think, yeah, that's my best question. Where do you get your information?
Marshall's gonna kick me from the room. I just promise you. He never fails.
As like UNRWA?
Sorry, what?
It'll be the exit we need. It always
UNRWA,
is.
the United
Human Rights Watch.
Refugee Relief Agency or some shit like that.
Human Rights Watch.
100%. Like, where are you getting your information? Because it's
I
really
just gave
painful, and I want to be. Excuse me, I do apologize. I want to be very patient. I want to be very calculated, and I want to make sure that I give you the floor to really express your thoughts and opinions and where you're coming from. It's really difficult, and I'm saying that because I have like a hair trigger reaction to certain words, and it's not your fault. I just want to know.
Chipotle monster.
I just answered your question.
Elizabeth, how long have you heard of the conversation?
Maybe 10, 15, 12 minutes.
No, we've been going longer than that. Marshall, by the way, I made you moderator because I don't want to be one.
Oh, thanks, Jules.
Okay.
Like, this is something I understand that's made odds with Mojo and I think Marshall maybe. But yeah, it puts me at odds.
It's because you support terrorists.
Yeah, that's
Bingo.
Support. Yeah, Marshall.
Bingo.
Do I support terrorists?
No, I don't think I agree with you on the topic, but no, I would not classify you as a terrorist supporter.
Yeah.
He
So,
blames Israel for the Israel-Hamas conflict. So how do you not support terrorists?
Yeah, so they've created the crisis, and so essentially, like, it's why Palestinians.
You mean the terrorists in Gaza have no responsibility for creating the crisis?
No.
Why are you still calling them Palestinians? I don't understand that. Like, why are you still calling them
So what do you call the natives in the area?
Just for conversational.
What do you call the people who Israel imprisons that they cut off electricity?
Criminals.
People, because they're not Israeli. You said they're not Israeli, right? Because Israelis, have rights to not be to not have their homeland.
Do you call
Arabs have rights too. Sorry, I
You're right.
Well, since Israel doesn't regard, any human rights for
Well,
Palestinians.
Necro, sorry, I called you Nero. Necro, don't forget, we're sending you on an all-expense paid trip to the West Bank, September 15th. Pack your bags, you lucky guy.
Yeah. Like I said, I mean, like, if they want to, like, on my trip knowing that I'm going to give food to people, then have at it.
When I asked you where you would go with your girlfriend,
The West Bank is starving?
or boyfriend, whichever, I don't care.
Yeah,
Tickets for two. You picked Israel, right? You picked Israel.
Wait, people are starving in the West Bank, Necro?
Hold it. Are you saying the Muslim countries discriminate against white guys? Is that what you're saying to me?
I'm saying that Israel is more welcoming to white than they are to Palestinians.
You're white, Necro?
What is he talking about?
You're white, Necro?
Do I sound white?
I thought you were transparent. And I thought you were just a patriotic American.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I need for. Could you please repeat that information that you just shared with us, please? Thank you.
Yeah.
He's exhausted.
White supremacists to tell them, or to people who say that I'm not white, is to compare their skin to mine, tell me that they're whiter.
Necro, I'm being facetious, and I'm just trying to point out that I think you will go all night long, and you don't find that your position is tentative, that you might not be absolutely right in your diagnosis or your analysis.
So, I mean, I don't claim to be the arbiter of anything. I mean, like, I can be wrong. But just because I can doesn't mean that I am wrong, right?
No, you might be wrong. I mean, I went to Israel over 20 years ago, and guess what I discovered when I was there, Necro?
Okay. So were you in Iran?
No, guess what I discovered? Guess what the Palestinians have been doing for over 25 years? They've been putting out murder death tapes, horrible programming, a terrorism to kill Jews all the time. They're obsessed with it. They put it out in their movies, their media, their radio. All they do is talk about war, death, destruction of Israel. It's nonstop propaganda against their own people. And look what they did on October 7th. They actually carried out what they said they were going to do.
Let Elizabeth speak. Elizabeth, I made you a moderator, by the way, because I'm.
And maybe they wouldn't
I
have
saw that,
hatred
sweetheart.
of
Thank you.
Israel if Israel was not committing more crimes against them.
Let Elizabeth speak. Go ahead.
Yeah, quick question.
You're in crazy land now, Elizabeth. Go ahead.
I know. Like, simple question. Again, not wearing my glasses. Have you been to Israel? Quick question.
No, he's only studied the genocide from the internet.
Let him talk. Let him talk. It's much more fun when he speaks.
Anytime I answer your question, Elizabeth, you act as if you didn't answer it, that I didn't answer it, so I don't see why I should.
Sorry, I can't. Well, if you don't want to answer me, just say that. Don't. Whatever. I got a lot of bullshit going on in the background. Because all of us. Sorry. I'm still talking. Hello.
I was talking to you.
No, actually, I was speaking. I was asked a question also, and I was responding. And I do have a very clear question. Well. Do you want to hear my question, or do you want to?
Are you going to listen to my answer and not repeat it as if, repeat the question?
Very good question.
Poor Necro.
Very good question. And I could ask you also, because I'm still speaking. Hello. And you don't let me finish. So, you know what? Forget my question. I'm a woman. I'm also
I think that's a good idea.
brown. Ooh. Wow, saucy. Okay, what the fuck is your question?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, thanks.
Good riddance. So anyways, I actually gotta go, but it was fun talking to you. I actually enjoyed it. Tremendous, believe it or not. And Kitover, I was like, that's interesting. I don't know if I've added you, Kitover. Oh, I haven't, so I will do that. Anyways.
Yeah, Necro, your valuable input will be utilized in my political campaign, but for what, I have no idea.
Yeah, I think it's interesting though. It's like, we're talking about like clubhouse movies. The people who would play each other. Abby said the person I look like is River Phoenix. So, and I guess that's pretty fair to say.
Necro, what are you majoring in college?
Sequential art.
What?
Sequential art. I'm an art major.
Okay, that's gonna get you far.
So let me ask you, Necro, what do you consider the word art means? What do you think the word art means?
Expression. The art is expression.
So everything is art because everything expresses itself.
Yeah, in a way, it's like everything's considered art.
Are you just LARPing? Like, is Necro an expression of your art?
Yeah, I don't know how to answer the question, but yeah, it's interesting. I just want to say on the Clubhouse movie, like one person I suggested should play voiceover guy. I think that Tom DeLonge from Blink 182 that he should play. He would play voiceover guy, because that's who he looks like, without a doubt. And the guy who would play Steve Appel would be ventriloquist Terry Fader.
Necro, I'm not taping you, but I really need a copy of your voice that you're speaking if I have trouble going to sleep. You would put me out in 2 seconds, Necro.
He's trying to say that he finds you very entertaining and so uplifting that,
It's something like that, yeah. Something like that.
So,
Are you just an ASMR chatbot, Necro? Are you technically ChatGPT?
Yeah, are you real? Necro?
my voice has been commented to be so more broken than Stephen Hawking's speech function. So, I guess, in a way.
I got a call the other day.
Yeah,
and
I
I said, listen to this one. This is 2 seconds. I got a call the other day, and it was obviously a robocall. So I said, "Is this a robocall?" So the answer was, "I am not a robocall." Necro, are you a robo?
I guess in a way, I am.
All right, there we go. He's a Freudian.
Robots have feelings too.
Right. They do.
Okay, so my question is,
Anyways,
you said he doesn't.
Go, Necro. Let Elizabeth do it.
Oh,
We're interested.
I don't know how to answer.
I don't have to deal with that, so it's nothing that really under COVID. Yeah, I didn't get to get TP all the time, and I had to find creative ways to work my bumbo.
That's why you need a bidet.
But well, no, I mean, but it'd be like I take a shower afterwards.
Oh no.
Now you brought the shower.
Okay, do you believe in Good Samaritan laws? Like, do you think because you have a medical license, you should be obligated to help someone when in a public place when they have an incident? Because you have that license, do you believe in that obligation?
That's where it kind of morally becomes iffy. I would say in an ideal society, yes. And so I do think that.
You mean the homogeneous?
As long as there's no lawsuit, as long as you're shielded, if you give your best efforts,
But
you
isn't
can't be sued.
So you're on an airplane. You're on an airplane, you're minding your own business, someone has an episode on an airplane, but you have a medical license. What do you think you're supposed to do?
Well, well, for a fact, I know that in America legally, if you are, if that is the case, you do have to render aid. I think it's probably a good thing. And I don't know that I don't know if that is legally a crime. I do know that you can lose your license.
Of the United States. That is incorrect, Pepe.
Is it in all states?
Based on an oath, because first of all, it's governed by the FAA. It's federal.
No. I'm talking about, like, for example,
Well,
you're
Abby mentioned a plane on a plane.
Okay, sure, on the plane, but if you're if you're a nurse or an EMT or a doctor and you fail to render aid, let's just say like at a traffic accident, I don't believe it's necessarily a crime here in Arizona, but
It is a crime in the United States, but it is.
In parts of the United States.
No, not parts, because the AMA governs how you act as the first
I
responder.
don't. No, the AMA is not. They don't make the laws regarding
Yeah, any
whether or not it. No. They're an accrediting body that basically can decide whether or not you have a license. That they don't charge you
like
with
the bar
crimes.
association. So if you do something wrong.
Yeah, but you can run afoul of the bar association and not get criminally prosecuted.
Everybody's talking about criminal prosecution. Talking about taking away your credit.
Yeah, but a lawyer's license, we have it state by state, so it happens.
Right, and so would be the first responders. It'd be state by state.
Yeah, but you said that it was illegal because the AMA or whatever said that you had to do it. No,
I'm saying in the case of doctors, they take an oath, right? That tells them.
Yeah, but that oath is not. That's not under.
Oath or that.
Yeah, but that's not under. Yeah, that does not mean you'll. For violating your oath does not mean that you'll be criminally prosecuted. If you were a doctor.
Nobody said that. You're saying something about criminally prosecuted. I'm just saying that if
No,
you
you
violate
did say
that oath.
something about. You did say
No,
something about.
I'm saying that if you violate that oath by not helping somebody, then you are in violation of the oath, hence you lose your accreditation.
No, you were rebutting me, trying to imply that it was criminal, but now you're just backing up like a.
I'm not saying anything about criminal. You're stop. You're ridiculous.
That reinsertion into the womb thing has me fucked up right now. I'm not gonna lie. I have to really think about it.
Well, Abby, can I ask you a question? Why did you ask
Tuition in a lot of places in the country.
Because when you're asking about the $1,000 for a water bottle and whether people have moral obligations, and just generally people in society having a moral obligation to take care of someone in need, and whether, and we have laws about property after disasters and things like that, but it made me think about the Good Samaritan laws, whether there's a moral obligation or an ethical obligation when someone has an emergency, and whether you have to render aid. And there's all kinds of Good Samaritan laws in different states. So it made me think about the doctor. That's why I asked you. My mind was roaming. I apologize.
Well, I will say this, Simon. In Arizona, if you have water available and you refuse to offer water to somebody seeking water, that is a crime.
That's absolutely ridiculous. Again,
How is it ridiculous? You're such a piece of
because
shit.
that's forfeiting. Again, I'm simply stating the principle. I mean, morally, I'd probably just give the guy water. I don't care. But I'm simply saying, you don't basically that just completely negates your private property rights. That's basically saying someone has a need. To hell with your. To hell with your.
This is like two guys who repeat themselves over and over again, just saying the same things for years.
I get the libertarian, there's part.
This isn't libertarian. This is just property rights.
Bullshit.
This is literally property.
Okay, no.
Yeah, sorry.
Sorry,
you're not like a professional water giver, right? You're a professional doctor. You do have an obligation. I think there's a big difference there. Well,
Absolutely not. You might have No, you don't
From a
even have
moral standpoint,
No, no.
it depends how you.
A moral standpoint. I have no obligations to literally anyone other than maybe my children, depending on if they're
Yeah, but then should you have your license revoked? Then that's the question.
Well, I don't even believe you should have a license.
Right, but let me. You're somebody who
That's
doesn't
a-
even.
I'm not
Hold on a
sure
second.
about that. I mean, I think doctors obviously hold quite a unique position in society, right?
No.
I mean,
Well, Simon.
What?
Well,
I can get into
What's
that
the
if you
difference
want.
between a plumber and
Because doctors have a certain privilege that comes from something that's more professional and morally obligated.
Being a doctor
Why?
is not
If a-
a being
why?
a doctor
Because-
is not a privilege.
Because it's more serious, dude. If you refuse
No,
to
being-
provide,
Being
you know,
a doctor, why? How is being a doctor a privilege?
I'm trying to explain if you're refusing to provide care when someone is qualified and able to do so, I think it should be treated as criminal negligence, just as it would be if any person with an ability to prevent serious harm chooses to walk away. If a firefighter refuses to put out a fire, for example, or a police officer ignores to help you in a violent crime while off duty, the consequences, I think, should be legal. The same standard should apply to doctors. That's what I believe. I think
It's not that.
there are few.
what you're
There
saying
are
is
few.
that.
Go on.
Yeah, sorry, go on. No, go on.
No, I just wanted to.
Hospitals, by the way, Tobias.
Yeah.
Hospitals have that obligation in the U.S. Like a hospital
John Kitover.
can't deny, if someone comes in with a medical emergency. There's a federal law. It's the Emergency Medical Something Act that requires hospitals to treat an emergency room. Anyone to stabilize them and treat them.
Yeah, I think that's
But I put it in
How
the
is
chat.
that stupid, Simon? Like, how is that stupid?
because you're literally the government is mandating, forcing a person to act. That is ridiculous.
How do you think this country runs? Like, literally, we demand safe roads to transfer, to drive to and from work, to wherever. It doesn't matter where we drive. It's not a non-argument, okay? But even when it comes to our
The
healthcare
government is
system,
forcing me to work. Look
we
at
have
roads.
fucking. You're a goddamn idiot. Like, we have a bunch of fucking rules and expectations in place for our country to run. Like, I just.
Okay, that doesn't.
No, and you love, as much as you love
Yeah,
to not call yourself a libertarian, like you have the same gay fucking anarcho capitalist libertarian arguments. I said, like you said, you were.
I will say that I know somebody who works in the OR, anesthesiologist, speaks Spanish, and was essentially talking to a lot of the individuals that will come travel purely to get a double bypass surgery or very big, like $100,000 cases in the United States. And they'll go into the operating room, get all the services rendered, and then fly back on a plane and leave.
Yeah, sure. So it was like, well over 20 years ago when I worked in hospital registration, especially in the emergency department. Basically, the guy who had you sign in when you saw a triage nurse. Yes, like there was a huge chunk of the people that were coming to the ER that we have access Arizona healthcare cost containment system, which the acronym is ACCESS. They didn't get that, but what they got was like a yellow access card. These people didn't have social security numbers. Dead giveaway. They're illegals, but it was federally funded, especially if we saw the yellow access cards. And they would come to the ER for anything. It could be a sinus infection. It doesn't matter, which obviously that needs to be treated. But in terms of like getting double bypass surgery, I'm not familiar with that. Like, at least things could have changed quite a bit. Because, this is well before Obama when I worked there. In that area, they would treat immediate symptoms. But if you had one of the things that like kind of made me somewhat sympathetic for like expanding healthcare to vulnerable people is that there was like this 20-year-old guy. He worked for a security company. He had cancer. He was having a lot of symptoms. He made too much to get Medicaid. Yet he would come into the ER all the time to basically cope with the symptoms, but he never got treated for his cancer. And to me, I was just like, dude, this is beyond fucked up. And I remember asking him, like, have you ever thought of just like, maybe if you like quit your job, like, at the end of the day, I understand that you know you're kind of able to maybe sustain your current lifestyle, which the security company he worked for, he made next to nothing.
Pepe, what is your point?
My point is this. Shut the fuck up, Congress. My point is that like here we had this American, this young man who was like unfortunate enough to have to deal with cancer, and he was not getting. They were not treating his fucking cancer. They're dealing with fucking.
What kind of cancer did he have?
I do not know.
Wait, so all this just to say
I'm not a medical professional, but what I do know is that this was something the nurses were talking about. A lot of people were talking about in the ER. They're like emergency room. He said, "Well, you guys don't have an ability to pay." Well, they like, no, we can't do anything about it. She ended up dying, and you know that.
Did you just make a racist Freudian slip by saying break the blacks back?
I was just about to say.
But no, no.
Yes, it was a Freudian slip.
What did I say? That was a Freudian slip.
You said break the blacks back, and then you fixed it and said break the camel's back. Was that a racist Freudian slip?
That was a straw that broke the camel's back.
Black.
You're such a goddamn.
Look, I didn't mean to take you away from what you were talking about to make you talk about doctors, but I was trying to make the analogy of the moral obligation.
The principle is that there is no moral obligation. That the government should not be mandating you just because you have a.
How can you say it's not morally mandated?
I want to ask Simon something about that just because maybe there's something.
I have rights. That's why it's.
No, but as I've been saying this whole time, your morality is so different.
Pepe, chill, dude, shut up. I have, sorry, I had a question. If I'm missing something, I'd love to hear it, okay? Because I'm quite a knowledgeable atheist. You've been in rooms with me, Simon. You know how much I know about the subjects, but I feel like I'm missing something here, right? So I just wanted to say my piece, and you tell me if I'm missing something. So I'd love to know more about it. So from a secular perspective, I believe doctors should be legally required to help in emergencies, even off duty, right? Because they chose a profession that exists to save lives. So in the same way that a police officer or a firefighter, doctors aren't, in my opinion, just private citizens when it comes to life or death situations, because they're trained for years. Yes, in some cases they swear an oath and take on a role that literally gives them special privileges and trust in society, and with that comes responsibility. So if a doctor walks away from someone dying just because they're off the clock, that goes against the very purpose of their job. So like I said before, it's like a firefighter refusing to save someone from a burning building because their shift ended. People would be outraged, and I think rightly so. The same should apply to doctors in the medical emergencies. The last thing I'm going to say, and like I said, there's something I'm missing, I'd love to hear it because I'm all ears, right? We rely on people like doctors and police and emergency workers to hold society together, right? If we start saying it's okay for them to turn their backs when we need them, especially in those sort of situations, everything's going to break down. In a world without that duty, people will suffer and die needlessly. So yeah, I think we should definitely expect more from those people to choose those roles, because without that mindset, we're absolutely doomed to a society that's built on trust and mutual care. That's how I feel about it. If I'm missing something, I'd love to hear what I'm missing. So you're missing lawyers.
So basically,
lawyers, we have to, so just so you know how it fits for us, because it's a different emergency situation. But we can't keep our license in, I mean, I'm in 3 states. I have this obligation in all 3.
Yeah, it's still adversarial. There's not be.
Pardon?
It's adversarial. You're in an adversarial position, so you would find the client and not the other person. You're not looking for truth.
No, whatever. I don't know. In order to keep our license yearly, we have to do a certain amount of pro bono work. You have to do a certain amount of free.
Insane.
We have to.
Serious? You have to do
Well, yeah, but like if you work in a firm, so we used to pass the pro bono work on to our associates and make them do it. The partners didn't have the time to do it, but as long as the firm provided the legal assistance. But yes, you have an obligation if you're active practicing. You have to do a certain amount of pro bono. There are ways out of it that you can. There are exceptions to it that you can request. It's like
Taking classes, like okay, learning
see, this is
we have to do that
the
too.
combination that I'm talking about.
So hold on. The classes are entirely different. Like I can't keep my license without. I have to take 14 credits a year. I absolutely continuing legal education. That's different. But there's a lot of states have this pro bono requirement that again there are ways around it. Whether you do something to help legal aid to there's different ways around it, but it still puts that obligation. So it's different. No, we don't have an obligation to give legal help if someone's just got arrested. We have no obligation whatsoever, unless we have an attorney-client relationship with them, which is different. But I hear what you're saying about someone in a medical profession, and they take an oath, and it becomes requirements of their license. And that's why Samaritan because of that obligation that they have, it needs to be shielded from liability. Basically malpractice and liability for acting under the
That's one of the things I think they don't get is that if you're an EMT, a nurse, a doctor that tries to, with the Good Samaritan laws, if you're somebody who tries to revive somebody or render aid and they so happen to succumb to their injuries or whatever happened to them, they're not going to be held liable at all legally. Which I think is a good thing. I do think that you're incentivizing, medical professionals to render aid, and that they're not going to be, if it fails, they're not going to, be
The argument's
held
not about that
liable.
fail, isn't it?
But we're not talking about that. I'm simply saying, do you have a moral obligation? Like Tobias, he's basically putting in my opinion, this is my opinion, he's putting way too much emphasis on the importance. I'm not trying to diminish how important doctors are, but